There's something that I haven't really made clear enough so far in this series. I think it's because I've just done draft only series so much in the past that maybe sometimes I forget to emphasize for the newer viewers exactly what we're doing here. And the reason I feel like I haven't emphasized it enough is because there's been some comments, and I'm not trying to call out the comments by any means. That is not my intention. I'm trying to do a better job of explaining exactly what the challenge of this particular rebuild is. This is not your average expansion franchise series. This is a draft only series, and what that does is it limits me in a couple of ways. There's really two rules that I have to follow here in this series. The first one is that I must have 12 players on my team at all times that we acquired through the draft or undrafted free agency. For this team, and the expansion draft counts as a draft, which is why guys like Lonzo count towards this. We have Ellis, we have Lonzo. Cameron Payne would not be one of these 12 players. So we have two, we have 1 and 2 here at shooting guard, because Nick Weber is an undrafted free agent that we signed to a two-way contract, excuse me. We have all 3 small forwards. We have Saramago, we have Leonard Miller here. Green and Anderson do not count. We have Duran, Hardy, and Forbes. That adds up to 12. The second half of our rule set is the players that play minutes for us when I build a rotation must come from among these 12 players. Guys like Andre Drummond, even though he's a much better backup center than Andre Hardy, I cannot play him at all. I would have to play Duran, Hardy, and Forbes all over Drummond's. I'd have to play Leonard Miller, of course, over Draymond Green, which we've been doing. So what made that Isaiah Joe trade a few episodes ago so risky is that when it comes to an injury, I can't just plug Alex Caruso into the lineup. Once somebody gets injured, we're playing Nick Weber, whatever you want to call him here, actual minutes in an NBA game, which is sketchy. So hopefully that kind of clarifies the challenge that I'm imposing on myself here in this series. Hopefully, we'll get to a point where we don't have to rely on like 65 overall players who are playing down to a 61 in case of injury. That was a risk I was willing to take this year to kind of unlock the 9-man rotation that I wanted. I didn't have, big playoff aspirations for the team this year. They've played really well in spotlight games, but overall, we've been more of a middling team. So in future years, I'm going to try to make us a little bit more injury proof once we're actually trying to win big. But for this year, I thought just relying on a couple of two-way contracts and getting some mentors was the way to go, because our team still is so young and maybe not quite yet ready to compete. We'll still have more picks down the road, of course. But when I say, we're very susceptible to injury, that's what I mean. Because once we get an injury, we can't actually get these players who should probably honestly be getting minutes. We're going to the OJ Forbeses of the world, which is quite a bit more sketchy for our team. Hopefully that makes some sense as to kind of what the challenge of this series is. And not saying I'm annoyed by the comments that are suggesting that I trade for someone or this, that, or the other. I'm definitely not. Any comments I love with suggestions, even if it's something that I'm not technically allowed to do. So I just want to kind of clarify why I'm maybe not following some of these comments, suggestions. So let's take a look at the number 1 pick in the draft, shall we? And get a game in against the Phoenix Suns. Much like the previous draft, I think the Suns made a surprising but ultimately justifiable pick at number 1. It's a copycat league, and after seeing how good Ayrton Saramago has been, trying to get somebody with a similar skill set in Dante Hardy at the number 1 pick makes a lot of sense for Phoenix. He's firing up a quick 3 to start this game off for the Suns. Albert Ellis trying to go to work inside. Missed his first shot of the day, but gets to the line and gets a couple of free throws here that time around. Hardy puts up a deep shot there with the shot clock winding down. No good. In transition, we get it to Saramago on the wing for the three. And his first points are now on the board. Naz Reid from beyond the arc. No good again. Phoenix taking it down on the shot clock here to the final few seconds. His last couple possessions. Naz Reid in the post. He has a mismatch against Albert Ellis. Ayrton Saramago comes and helps force a miss. Mago off the Duran screen. Fires one in for three. Now it's Carter. One of the lowest, in fact, I would probably say confidently, the lowest overall starting point guard in the league. He's in the low to mid 70s. Albert Ellis with the jumper again is off the mark. I wish he would have taken a little extra time to square up on that one. Phoenix gets their second basket there. Pick and roll for Saramago and Duran. And this is just a play that I feel like is unstoppable and that we should be going to even more than we do in this offense. We'll get another one here. So far it's worked for 5 points. Make that 7 of our first 12 coming via the Saramago Jalen Duran pick and roll. Jalen Green defended by McKnight. Step back jumper is no good. McKnight doing a nice job staying home. Saramago for three off the screen. Put a little too much on it. So now we got Dante Hardy getting a nice screen, getting the baskets, plus the Saramago foul. I gotta say, I think Phoenix might be using the Magic's playbook. I can't say that for certain, but a lot of the plays they run are very familiar to what we run. If it's not the Magic playbook, it's somebody that has a lot of overlap with the Orlando playbook. I'll just say that. Max Christie into the game. He slams it over the top of Dylan Brooks. What a play by Max Christie. Started the year, of course, as a starter for us. But after some not great efficiency, has moved to the bench. And let's hope he can get that efficiency back up now that Josh Green is in our starting five. Saramago with a strong drive. We don't ask him to isolate often. Maybe that's something that we can start to put into his plays. I don't believe isolation is one of his plays. Neither is three-point plays, but we run three-point plays for him all the time like we do right now. This time it works. So I feel like what we have listed as the players' plays matters less in this game maybe than it has in years past. They're just kind of running the playbook. But I don't mind. For the most part, we get good looks there. That was a tough attempt by Saramago, trying with his opposite hand to scoot around the defender. That one's going to be called for a foul for Jalen Green. He gets himself to the line. Saramago goes for another three. Maybe settling for jumpers a little bit too much here in the first from what I would like from him, but he is good at them, to be fair. Jalen Green tries to fire over the top of Jalen Duran to no avail. A tight three-point game for us so far as Albert Ellis misses the mid-range and Saramago misses the putback. Naz Reid had a mismatch on Albert Ellis on the post, takes advantage of it. Now Saramago with 5 seconds left on the shot clock swings it to Lonzo Ball and another missed three. This is just a 1 point game against the 8-20 Phoenix Suns. Nice defense by Lonzo to force the miss. Now we got Max Christie pulling up for three. That one's bottoms. Gets us to 25 points here in the first. Tough fadeaway for Hardy is no good. Push ahead to Max Christie, excuse me. Inside to Hardy, and the layup after the pump fake falls for him. Hardy again, going up against Hardy. Dante versus Andre there in the post, and Dante wins that one. Saramago, a nice fadeaway from that short mid-range. After the rebound, swinging ahead to Ayrton Saramago. He's got a matchup against Dylan Brooks. Swings it out to Christie. This one rattles around and finds its way to the bottom of the basket. Now the offense starting to pick up here in the final moments of the first. The defense starting to clamp down as well. 1 second left on the shot clock, shutting down that possession. And that'll be the last one here of the first. We will get one deep Lonzo three, but no good on that attempt. 32-23 after one. Very tight first quarter for the first 10.5 minutes or so until Vancouver went on a bit of a run. LeVert pulls up for three behind the screen and gets Phoenix going here in the second quarter. Lonzo pulls up for the mid-range to no avail. These are the Cam McKnight minutes here to start the second. So far, Phoenix 6-0 to start the quarter. Lonzo, another off the dribble shot that can't find the bottom of the basket. Would love to actually run a play for McKnight here. So far, it's been all Lonzo ball and a 9-0 Phoenix run off of 3 triples. That's how we get the quarter started. Finally, we get the ball into the hands of McKnight and it works out for us, giving us back the lead as Grayson Allen takes a nice drive to the basket, and they're going to call a foul on McKnight. I don't know if I saw that one, if I'm being honest. Looked like he was straight up to me. Although I'll have to admit, a little bit of bias at least here. Lonzo just not feeling it here to start this second quarter. 0 for 3. Grayson pulls up for 3 behind the screen. No good for him. We get another shot for Greenlight McKnight. Maybe just a little too deep there. And he misses it. Inside to Walker. Nice feed, but no good on the finish. Great defense leads to a deep mid-range jumper from the corner that McKnight can't hit. Lonzo feeds Hardy inside and the layup falls. Lead back in the hands of Vancouver. Pick and roll top of the key. LeVert, no good from the on the arc. He hasn't been feeling it too much in this second quarter. Lonzo finally gets one to fall. Vincent now the one here, dribbling the ball for the Suns. This is still a pretty veteran team from their days of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, of course. They haven't been able to quite get all of their vets off the team, so a bit of veteran backups to go with their younger starting core here in Phoenix. Lonzo, that's no good. Continues to put up a ton of shots here. Just 2 of 8 so far for Lonzo Ball. Trying to get something going with McKnight. The step-through shot is rarely ever successful in 2K. Direct handoff to LeVert. Has the space and hits the 3. It's just a 4-point game halfway through the 6th. Phoenix has done better than these, top-tier teams against us in this spotlight game so far. Naz Reid mismatching the pose. Jalen Duren comes for the double, and it forces maybe a fadeaway that Naz Reid didn't want to take. And Albert Ellis in transition gets to the free throw line for a second time of the half. Inside to Leonard Miller. That's a great pass by Duren. Leonard with the finish. Going for the pick and roll. Albert Ellis snuffed it out with the steal. Now finds Ellis in the corner. He's going to isolate on the drive against Carter, and a nice finish with the left. He's shown an ability to use that offhand pretty reliably on his drives, which I do really like. When you're a smaller guy trying to finish, you're going to have to use that opposite hand at times to get off a clean shot. And I like that he's both willing and able to do so at a high rate. McKnight, isolation. Not his forte. He's done a little bit better this year than last, but I'd like to get him more opportunities off screens and such. Carter has been playing pretty well for Phoenix in this game. Hitting a lot of threes, but that one's no good. Saramago matched up with Carter in the post and takes advantage of the mismatch. Dunn from the wing finds Hardy. He's been quick to fire from three. Been playing pretty well here in this first half as this #1 overall pick. And there's one of our go-to fast break plays. Just send Saramago right beneath the basket and then pass it to him in transition. I like it because there's oftentimes going to be the first man down for the defense is going to be a guard, and that gives us a nice mismatch in the post in transition. A little bit congested there on the inside, but Duran draws the foul. Green matched up against McKnight. McKnight showing great defense, but then Saramago with the foul on the three-point jump shooter, trying to make up for it with a three there, but no good on that one. Under a minute left to play in the first half. Green fires a deep three. Ellis in transition finishes around the outstretched arms of Naz Reid. The assist goes to Saramago, and Albert Ellis having himself, I think, the best first half we've seen. The jump shot isn't falling, but been able to have success on the drive, whether finishing or drawing the fouls here. 17 seconds remain. Saramago puts us to 59 points in the quarter. Jalen Green driving on McKnight and finishing with style. Oh my, right on top of Greenlight McKnight. We get one more shot. It's a miss by Saramago, and it's a 6-point lead heading into the half. This has been the most competitive game we've had so far in our spotlight appearances. Still just 2 for 6 for Ellis. The three ball is not falling for him. Our point guards are combined 4 for 14 right now, but 8 for 14 is Saramago, leading all scorers. Dante Ellis had 11 at the break. Ellis awaits the Duran screen. Pulls up from the mid-range, had some space, and makes the most of it for the mini basket. Hardy, second three-pointer of the half. So far, 0 for 2 for him. Was one of Phoenix's best players here in the first half. Saramago in transition gets the three and extends our lead to double digits. Jalen Green trying to respond with a three of his own, and a nice tandem rebound there. Duran and Saramago. Duran in transition continues to show that he's got a little bit of a handle this year that he hasn't had in years past. As long as you give it to him with a bit of momentum, he can make something of it. And that's making me really excited about this front court. Nice job battling on the interior, and the Blizzard ultimately come away with the rebound. In transition, trying to feed the big man, but the defense was solid there. Jalen Green now in transition. A little pick and roll. Quick pick and roll for the Phoenix Suns leads to Dante Hardy's first second half basket. This one stolen away by the Suns. Green awaits the Hardy screen, fires off of it. No good there. McKnight a nice job battling through the screen. We're going to get a mismatch in the post. Saramago dishes it out to Ellis, who fires 4-3. Still not able to get it going from beyond the arc, but he's been good at all of his other shots. Saramago, nice defense in transition. We've got the mismatch. Jalen Green on him again. This time Green goes for the steal, and it results in an easy Saramago flush. He's up to 27 points on the day. Also been playing some pretty good defense here in the second half. Carter continues to be a good shooter here for Phoenix. Ellis with it. Goes inside. Risky pass, but it finds its way into the hands of Duran. What a play there. On the drive, Jalen Green, no good. McKnight once again showing some strong defense. This time fires from the corner. And Nasrid a little over anxious there on the contest. It results in a few McKnight free throws. That's going to be a block for the Blizzard. Who was it, though? I can't quite tell. Either way, an excellent defense of that Nasrid drive. And I think it is going to be Duran who will get credit for the block there. What a play by the two big men. Phoenix gets the basket anyway, though, on the possession. Lonzo Ball. Need better production from him here in the second half, and he starts it off well with a three. Vancouver leads by 14. Carter fires before the screen gets there. Maybe caught the defense off guard there for the three. Hardy has been very three-point happy here in the second half. Hasn't quite been working out for him. Nasrid can't get the putback to go. Saramago gets another mismatch in the post. Just shoves Carter back. Carter forced a foul. Ryan Dunn top of the key. Setting up a mid-range shot for Dillon Brooks. That is off the mark. Running back the other way, Lonzo Ball gets swatted out of bounds. Dante Hardy had himself some really nice moments here in this game, I must say. He is currently the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, and I'm starting to see why, even though he has maybe missed a bunch of threes here in the second half. Nice defense there to force the miss. Lonzo awaits a Duran screen and hits another three behind it. LeVert on the drive, swatted out of bounds, but it's going to be a foul on Lonzo Ball. Are you kidding me? He's not happy with it. Neither am I. That would have been a nice block by Duran. Soaring high for the rebound is Saramago. In transition, Lonzo gets another chance at it. This time it finds its way home. No block awaiting him. There's a nice basket there for Phoenix. Christie pick and roll with Saramago. Rarely do we see Saramago actually be the roll man on a pick and roll. I think it's because he has the tendency to pick and pop more than he does to pick and roll, which is certainly interesting. Here he's the ball handler on the pick and roll, finding his rookie teammate Hardy, who gets fouled on the attempts. Dante Hardy, the culprit. Brooks from the corner, the three ball falls, cutting the lead to a dozen. Setting up an inside shot for Saramago, scoots around his defender and finishes with the left. Pick and roll. LeVert, hounded by Saramago, and the miss is there, so it'll be 87-73, a 14-point lead. Normally by this point, I think every game we've played, we've led by 20, unless I'm missing something. So Phoenix has put up a good fight, but ultimately in these spotlight games, this team has been a well-oiled machine. That's going to end up being a turnover. I guess it deflected off Hardy's hands. It looked like it was off of Phoenix Sun defender there. Ellis from the baseline hits the jumper, getting him to double-digit points. Didn't see much from him in the third quarter. Didn't play a whole lot, as now he's kind of the only one of our big three on the court. These are going to be the Albert Ellis minutes, but much like in the start of the second, Lonzo Ball taking over a lot of these shots. Phoenix cuts it to 16 points. Ellis, step back in the short mid-range is a little bit too much on it. LeVert, he's been a high volume shooter here for Phoenix in this game. Ellis pulls up again. This time it falls for him. Lead back up to 16 as LeVert is once again on the drive. This time he kicks it to the corner for Dillon Brooks. Ellis now in the corner himself, awaits the Duran screen, fires behind it, and there's a three ball for the rookie point guard. Up to 16 points in this game. I think that's the highest we've seen him get in a spotlight game. Maybe his first game he actually got more than that. I can't remember. I remember he was something like 5 for 18. Ellis from the corner finds Saramago. Mid-range shots. Falls, and now the lead balloons to 18. Looks like we might finally get that 20-point lead, even though we have to wait for the fourth quarter to do it. And that drive by Duran will get the job done. So from here on out, up 20 points. It's just Vancouver makes. Some good fight by Phoenix, but ultimately this offense is just a little too good. I think Coach Powers has found a nice rotation here. And when everybody's healthy, we got all 9 men that we want out there in this rotation. It does really well. Albert Ellis drawing the foul there on that 3-ball attempt with a minute left in this game. Finds another one here. This time it's just right down. So a couple of fourth quarter threes for Albert Ellis. And it'll be 119-97. Another dominating victory for the Vancouver Blizzard in a spotlight game. This team makes the play-in, and we start watching all these games. I think this team could be dangerous. It's really just Ayrton Saramago's dominance whenever we hop in and watch these games. He just can't really be stopped. He can maybe go cold for a quarter, but I don't think I've seen Saramago have a bad game or anywhere really close to it here in year 2 when we've watched these games. This guy is elite. We had some good players last year with our Nashville Sound, but I don't think anybody's quite as dominant as Ayrton Saramago. Ellis finishes with 22, 4, and 6 on 7 of 16 shooting, which is not bad at all. Just 2 of 7 from deep, though. 6 of 18 for Lonzo Ball. Just took too many shots in this game, considering he wasn't doing well. I mean, I don't mind him taking 18 shots if he's making 9 or 10 of them. Just 2 of 6 for McKnight in this game, a little bit quieter on that front. Lonzo was taking a lot of shots from him, if we're being honest. But good game for the squad. On the other end, we held everybody on Phoenix under 20 points in the outing. A couple of blowout victories land us at 17 and 15 here as we have just passed the new year. Team's starting to score really well, at least 114 points in each game over the last 2 weeks, with several games getting into the 130s and even one into the 140s. Let's take a look at some box scores here. Scored 143 points. Things got to be looking pretty good. 32 for McKnight, who also had 3 steals in this game. 26, 9, and 4 for Duran. 24, 11, and 5 for Saramago. Only 6 of 15, but I'm fine with that. Ellis seemed to be maybe the only person who wasn't shooting well, although obviously, 40% for Saramago is not great either. But awesome stuff here against Utah, who of course we had their pick before we traded it for Ellis. In terms of a draft preview, that's going to be coming pretty soon here. We've got these players to a high enough percent that I'm going to start going through some clips. But another win here, 32-13 for Saramago, 26 for McKnight. We get 22 from Ellis. I'm curious as to what his career high is at this point. He has scored 32. So he has a 30-point game in there. Hopefully it's one of these wins that we can look at, because of course hasn't quite been able to have an excellent game. He had a really good second half in this episode, but let's look here at this Lakers game. 37, 16, and 8 for Saramago in this one on 22 shots. Campaign was playing. There was a short-term injury, and so I had the CPU just take over the rotation for just a couple of games. But Ellis had 15 in this one, but Lonzo Ball with a double-double. There you have that. And against the Trailblazers, scored 124 points. McKnight and Saramago each dropping 30 bombs in that game, both with 6 rebounds and then 5 and 4 assists respectively in that one. And then maybe the last game, we'll look at the box score here, will be against the Suns. Oh, wait, this is the game that we watched. I'm a little faded here, but there you have it. 17-15. And with 5 wins in the last 6 games, could the season start to be looking up for the Vancouver Blizzard? We're going to have to find that out. There was a request to play the Warriors, and January 19th is the first time we're playing them this season, and so could be hopping into that game in the next one. We might be getting our draft preview. We'll just have to see. That's all I've got here for this episode, though. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with another. And until then, bring the Blizzard.